Hello everybody, welcome back to another video on the series and the channel. We're going to be here continuing our Let's Make an RPG Together series, I think is what we're going to go ahead and call it. I think that's the final name, maybe final answer perhaps for now. So last time we finished our UI stuff, and with Premium out, we've got some new stuff going on there, but we don't have Premium yet on here. We'll be getting it very, very soon. But today I just want to go over talk behavior real quick. Now, like I kind of displayed last time, it's tough to go over talk behavior as these individual things. You really need to kind of, it's more of kind of concepts rather than what does each of these things do. Excuse me, sorry. So first of all, what happens in here is going to happen when your character touches and interacts with whatever the object or actor is. Some of those terminologies are not strictly defined anywhere within this context of RPG Playground. Maybe more easier to find outside in like general game making, coding kind of jargon or what have you. But suffice to say, we have invisible actors here. The reason I'm using invisible actors is because what I want to happen is I want the character to sort of talk to this statue. The idea is going to be this is a dragon statue that either has some sort of spirit in it or something like kind of in the vein of like Wind Waker, the boat is talking to you, or I can't think of another example, but it's got to be just a very common trope thing of like a talking statue, or I'd like to think maybe the eyes light up when it talks or something like that. I can't make any of those visuals, but the idea is I hope that with the way this looks, it'll be inviting enough, or probably the game will just start off with a voice being like hello, and the character responding, what was that, what's going on, and they'll be like, it's me, the statue, behind you, or something that effect. But regardless, because the dragon isn't an actor itself, it's just an asset, nothing happens when I walk into it. But if I do put an invisible actor, then I can talk to it. Now I could just make it a person, right? And there are like dragon type folks down in here. The problem is, because the way this map is structured, if I want it perfectly centered and symmetrical, it has to be two, right? It has to be essentially 2 squares wide, right? You can see this is 1 square here, the second square here. It's like one thing that I actually wanted to be in the center here originally was going to be in Ref Map Dungeon. I was going to put this, but you can see it doesn't go in the middle. It's off center either way because it's 3 long instead of 2. Or this is only 1, so it's also off center either way. But things that are too wide, like this statue, I thought that's perfect. It's perfect. We'll put it there. So invisible actors are a way to make things that shouldn't be interactable appear as if they are. And once you interact with an invisible actor, or one of these characters, or this floor switch, or one of these things, or even a health pickup if it has actions, anything that is going to have either this after picked up actions or talk behavior, it's all gonna have the same options of what can be done when you interact with it when touched. That's why it says when touched here, is because you walk into it and that's when it happens. Now they all start with that automatic dialogue, hello, hi. Okay, pretty great, but we don't need it. Now, also, I don't know if I went over this in one of the other videos. Either way, we'll go over it again. There's a little bit of a new bug with the indentations. It might be gone now, but because I know that our man, the dev DeWitters, was looking over it, but I know he's also very, very busy. So I don't know if there's had a chance to get to that yet, but we'll get to it eventually. Regardless, we have some workarounds for now. So that's the basic idea. Anything that you want to happen when you interact with it, you can do in here, and you can pretty much do just about anything. So first off, you choose who's going to do the thing. So just because you're walking into it, doesn't mean that you or that object have to be the ones doing the thing. For example, we could say when touched this, we can make this become inactive. So now you'll see, even though we're touching this right here, this cube is going to disappear. Watch this. You see, it just disappears because from here we can interact with anything on the scene. Now, let's say I put a cube in here. This is ice cube A1. When we come back out here, you'll notice that if I go to look at the actions, ice cube A1 is referring to that, you see. So how can that be ice cube A1, but also this be ice cube A1? Well, that's because they're both in different scopes. So within the scope of this scene, that is ice cube A1, and anything that was referring to ice cube A1 will be referring to that one. This scene does not know about anything in here. It doesn't know about this. It doesn't know that it exists. In essence, it doesn't exist according to what's happening here. So you can only interact with things within the scene, which means that if you want to create, let's say, a screenplay where your character teleports to a different scene, you're going to have them teleporting onto a invisible floor space that has the rest of your actions. You can't just put them all, like, let's say I wanted to have the actor, let's say I want to have the hero teleport to here. What will happen is I'll go in here, but even if I do that, just because I'm ending up here doesn't mean that this thing becomes part of the scope. Okay, this can still only interact with things that are in this scene. Okay, so once I leave the scene via teleporting, anything that happens after that is probably just not going to happen because I'm not in the scene anymore. So you're essentially, it's essentially removing you out of the scope. It's actually interesting. Let me see here if this will become active after I leave. Becomes active. This is an interesting one. I don't think it's going to work. So you see how it's gone now. If the becomes active works, when I get back here, it should be here again. If it doesn't, then it won't. So we'll see. I come here. Oh, it is active. I see. Okay, so it does keep track of the things that are happening down here, even after you're gone from the scene. It does keep track of them. Otherwise this ice wouldn't be back, but it is. However, it's still not going to allow you to do anything in the next scene that you're at. Actors can only interact with things within their own scene. So that's the first concept of many. And we're just going to do kind of a brief overview of all of these. A lot of them kind of do as they say. We're going to talk about the heroes mostly just because the hero has the most of them. There's also tile map and interface, which I think we went over a little bit last time. They have their own actions they can do. These ones are premium, of course. Interface info text, that's pretty much the only thing you're going to be wanting to do here. Become active, become inactive, is active. These are things that are probably unnecessary. So this is giving you an example of just checking if anything is active. So like this is checking if boss is active, which boss would probably be an actor. The interface isn't, it is technically an actor, but it's kind of a unique actor in that it's just the text dialogue in the top right. But with premium, you have some more features. So either way, I think that with the more features, actually, now that I'm looking at it, if you have like big text that's like taking up the screen or something with these, I don't remember what exactly these do here, but you may find more use for those there. Anyway, and then of course the tile map, which is our sound and radios, and those have similar actions where you can change the volume, change the song that's playing, and you can do all of that from something you touch as well. But we really want to get into the nitty-gritties of our if statements. That's really what it comes down to, and then our choices as well. And also the has token, but they all kind of go together, like if statements and has tokens and the check if greater than, these all go together. So like let's say this one, if hero number of gold is greater than or equal to 5, merchant says here's your new armor, hero number of gold decreased with 5, hero max health decreased with 10. So just within that, they're trying to give you an example of how to use this hero number of blank greater than or equal to blank, which is just, okay, let's say gold greater than or equal to 10. Let's use the example they're using. But you can see this is empty. And so wait a minute. There's a whole bunch of stuff over here. I wish I could. I wish I could put my mouse over there. I like to be having my mouse cursor over what I'm talking about. Regardless, you can read all of the stuff that's there. So we've got the if hero number of gold is greater than or equal to, we set it to 10 instead of 5, but it's arbitrary. Merchant says here's your new armor. So there we have talk behavior. Hero says, we can just make them say something, very easy. The difference between hero saying something to someone else is going to be whose portrait shows up next to the dialogue. If you don't want any portrait to show up next to the dialogue, I'd suggest having an invisible actor say it. Now, next, we're going back down. We have, here's unit armor plus 10 max health. Hero number of gold decreases with 5. So first we checked if the number of gold was greater than equal to 5. Then we did the decreases with 5, which is this one right here. Hero number of decreases with. So that's already three different things just within this. And then we have hero max health increases with 10. That goes up to the hero health, which is here, and then hero max, and then hero max becomes. So that's like a whole bunch more things just within that. So as you can see, just to understand the concept of what they're going through here with all the stuff they've given with the example, they've nested more within there. And the lesson to learn with that is that really none of these do anything by themselves. They're all meant to be in combination with each other, and giving you every possible combination is unrealistic. And by themselves, they don't really do anything. So it's hard to give much of an example. So I think the easiest way for this one probably is just going to be to show you along as we're making the game and as we're going. But we'll do a very brief overview, which, I mean, no, because they say on the right. I suggest just reading these ones on the right to kind of get the concept. But I would say what you really are going to want to know is that within these, there's also scope. So there's scope within the scene, but there's also scope here. And it's nested based on indents. So if your number of gold is greater than or equal to 10, we'll just say invisible actor says, how wealthy, my goodness. And then else, we'll just say, actor says, oh, well, I'm sure you'll have better fortune in the wars to come. A little Game of Thrones reference. Alrighty. So, also one thing that's interesting, you can delete this here and the action is still okay. That's kind of a new bug thing. I don't know why it indents it too far. But what's interesting is if I have insert a new action here, run along now. Now, this is going to be said no matter what, because this isn't within the scope. So what we're going to have when we talk to him is we're going to get this, oh, well, I'm sure better fortune, and we're going to get this invisible actor says run along. We're going to get both of those. Run along now. Oh, we didn't even get the other one. Maybe because the else isn't here anymore. So let's see if we do this. See, this is what's interesting. These are both equally indented, which should be fine, but it's giving me an error and it shouldn't. If I just delete this one, now it works fine, and these are actually nested together within this if statement, but normally that's not the case unless they're indented identically. And since they're not, it just looks, it's a little iffy. So the only way to make them look the same is to delete this one. As I showed you earlier, I could delete this one without error. I shouldn't be able to change this around. Like there should only be one indentation that works. The fact that I can indent it here and it works, and I can delete this here and it works, is there's a bug there. Excuse me. There's a little bit of a bug there. Got something in the throat today. So that's just a thing to keep in mind for now, is that it's going to automatically give it that extra indent when you put in the action. And then if you try and indent something else to it, you're going to get an error. So you're going to have to delete that back to remove the error, but now it doesn't look clean, so it's here. So you're going to want to just delete this one back. It's a whole thing, but it is what it is. Easy workaround. You just have to be aware of what's going on there. Because I was making one video and I encountered this error because it looked like this, and I thought, what the gosh heck is going on? But that's just all we have to do. So, and I'm sure that'll be fixed eventually. So now we'll get this else, because we don't have, oh well, I'm sure you'll have better fortune in wars to come. We get that else because we don't have 10 gold. However, if, say for instance, this gave us some gold, now if we actually had 10 gold, then it would activate this one up here. It would activate this top one. So let's go ahead and touch this. It's going to tell us it gives us some gold. Here's 10 gold. Okay, so now that we have 10 gold, instead of saying, oh, well, I'm sure you'll have better fortune, it should say, how wealthy, my goodness, run along now. Wait a minute. it still said, oh, well, I'm sure we'll have better fortune in the wars to come. See, that's because it didn't actually give us any gold. All it did was tell us that it gave us gold. Oh, okay, get out of here. Get out of here, invisible floor switches. Y'all are annoying. Oh, tricksters. So, as I said, because it just told us it was giving us gold, here's 10 gold, we don't actually get any gold. It lied to us. These dialogues don't actually affect what's happening in the game. Contrary to popular belief, you got to go to hero, and you've got to go down to increases with. And we name the number is going to be gold, and then we'll say 10 just so that we can get our thing there, because if it only gives us 9, it's still not going to be enough because we made it greater than or equal to 10. So if we give it 10, now it'll tell us, and it gave us the gold. How wealthy, my goodness, run along now. Also, you know, just not that it's that big a deal, but you might as well capitalize things as appropriately as you can. You know, a little lowercase letter there. It's not a good look. So that really is kind of the basics of talk behavior. The other thing you want to know is give choices for. Now, having the hero give choices, I don't think makes a lot of sense. I think it makes more sense unless it's doing like an internal monologue, like, how do I feel about this? You know, or like, what is my name? Or I don't know, things like that. But in general, it'll be people asking the player for things. So we'll say, instead of the hero, we'll say invisible actor 1 gives choices for. Do you accept the task? Do you accept this mission? Should you choose to accept it? What's the rest of the Mission Impossible thing? I'm gonna look it up real quick. This mission, should you choose to accept it? Oh, okay, never mind. That's not, it's, okay. They actually just described the mission after that point, so I guess that's why I don't remember the rest of the quote, because it changes depending on which one. We'll just say, do you accept this great responsibility? Is that how you spell responsibility? I don't know, we don't have spell check in here. That's fine. Possible response. Absolutely. Ready for anything. Or, I think, adventures make one late for dinner. So I must respectfully decline. Okay, so now it's going to give us some choices, and it's going to give us these choices no matter what. So no matter what the gold we have, because this is over on the far left, it'll do that no matter what. However, if we interrupted the if statement with something here on the far left, it appears that our else statement just goes away and no longer happens. So let's just see how that plays out. How wealthy, my goodness, run along now. Do you accept this great responsibility? And you see it gives us these options. So this is actually the closest thing we have right now to a menu. The next update to at least a premium is going to be inventory type things, inventory type systems. I don't know what we'll get in the free version as far as that, but I know at least premium will be getting a inventory, and along with that, there will be shop systems and things like that. But as of right now, if you want to make a shop, this is probably your best bet. So even though absolutely ready for anything. And then you can have more things happen within that. So if he chooses this, we could have the invisible actor say, excellent, we're saved. And if you decline, he's going to say, oh no, we're doomed. Golly gosh darn it, the hero's not the hero. So we can show you that example. Absolutely ready for anything. Excellent, we're saved. Or, no, I did too fast. Adventures make one late for dinner, so I must respectfully decline. Oh no, we're doomed. Yeah, so you can see it just, depending on how you select the different options, you can therefore put different actions within it. So you can nest actions within actions within actions, and you'll find that you'll just find yourself doing a lot of that. I guess we'll put it that way. So another thing that I was going to do here is I'm going to go into do I have to do a new tab here? think it was here. Yeah. Okay, so I had some stuff here just kind of pre-written that we're going to use for the basics of our stats. And we'll talk about what's going on here and how and why this works. Let's copy that and throw that in. So, invisible actor 2 not found. Where's that line 14? Here. That's because we didn't copy all the way. Boom. And the actions are okay. Alrighty. So I'm going to take out some of this stuff because this was just examples. And then we're going to talk about this stuff that I've written here. I kind of pre-wrote it just to make sure it worked and that I wasn't going through errors with you guys. But basically, this is a basic idea of checking how much of something you have. So this will check how much gold you have. This will check how much potions you have. And it'll check how much experience you have. And then it will also check stats, but we haven't written that. We'll write that later, maybe together. So even though you can't gain experience or potions or anything like that yet, this is the basic idea of how you would keep track of that stuff. So let's take this away. And let's just show you what happens here. Welcome here. How may I assist you? Check. Check what? Okay. Well, so we have check gold, check potions, check experience, check stats. Let's see if I check gold. You have less than 50 gold? That doesn't seem like what I wanted it to say. If it's 0, you have 0. If it's less than 10, you have less than 10. If it's less than 50, you have less than 50. Okay, I see. So since we have 10, it is just going to say you have less than 50 because we gave ourselves 10 gold. So that's accurate. So let's see, what else can we check? So we can check our gold, potions, experience, and stats. Now, stats has nothing yet because, as you can see, in case check stats, nothing happens. But for the rest of them, it will give us some sort of answer. So we can check gold, check potions, experience, just say you have 0. Potions, say you have 0. And we know that they'll pretty much all work because they all are the same, if that makes sense. So since the gold works, we kind of know because we have a little bit of gold and it showed us, because we have in between 10 and 50, or in between 9 and 50, I suppose, we should get this message, you have less than 50 gold. And as we already saw, we did get that message. We have no potions yet, so 0. We have no experience yet, so 0. And then later we'll be able to check our stats. And you may want these things to be more specific or less specific. I did it with this estimate kind of thing because for every new estimate, for every new kind of range of accuracy, specificity, you're going to have to just make even more lines here. So you can see this is already somewhat long. I mean, it's really not that bad. But even this only gives us a very vague, 0 to 10, 10 to 50, greater than 50. That's really all we get for these. But like potions, we're probably going to have 50 potions. So these numbers maybe is unnecessary. Experience, we're probably not going to have 50 experience, but that depends on how your game is. That's just, the personal choice. But I just wanted to throw this in there just so that we have it and just to give an example of something where it works. So let's go kind of line by line and see what's happening here. So invisible actor gives choices for welcome hero, may I assist you? In case check, invisible gives choices for check what? So we've nested a choice within a choice. So if we pick this choice, it immediately gives us another choice. And then these are the choices. So in case check gold, and then you see all the way down here, in case check potions. So you can see these are even in terms of indent. And these, in case check experience, these are also even, and so on. But everything that's nested within something has to be indented accordingly. And this is just one example of kind of what that might look like. So I think that's probably all that we're going to go over today. Let's see, are there any other actions or important actions that we want to go over? I mean, you can really do just about anything. Oh, tokens. Let's talk about tokens. We need to talk about tokens. Token is just a way of keeping track of things. So there's basically 2 different kinds of things your characters can have. You can have things that are number tracked, where it's such as number of gold, number of potions, number of experience, things like that. And you can check those with less than equal to. You're not going to check has token gold. Even if the character has token gold, or sorry. Let me rewind a little bit here and slow down. We have 10 gold. We already know. We've mentioned that a couple times now. If you have something that says hero has token gold. What this is going to do is it's going to see if the hero has a token by the name of gold. And even though we have 10 gold, this is going to show up negative because we never received a token called gold. It's two different things. Tokens and things that are kept track of numerically are distinct and separate, even if they have the same name. So if you want a hero that has token gold, you can't just increase gold with a number. Instead, you're going to have to do hero receives token gold. You see? And so that's kind of distinctly different, but it's the same idea as the numbers. Now, instead of checking the number, like you're not going to say hero number of gold is greater than 1, you're going to see hero has token. You're going to check if the hero has token gold. So those are kind of two different things. It's more of a binary thing. Do you have it or do you not? And that's its own concept via tokens. And then as a separate concept, you have the counting numbers and ones where it's keeping track of how many do you have. And so it's important to know the differences and this kind of the strengths and weaknesses of those. For example, tokens might be better if you have a key item or what we might call a MacGuffin in terms of story tropes. If you have a MacGuffin, for those of you who don't know the term of a MacGuffin, anytime in any movie, there's just a big plot item that everyone's trying to get to. Let's say the Infinity Gauntlet, Infinity Stones in Infinity War, or the Deathly Hallows in Harry Potter, or I think there was like golden eggs or something in Ready Player One, or you know, it kind of reverse MacGuffin in Lord of the Rings, where they have the MacGuffin actually trying to destroy it. They already got it. So that's a little different there. But anytime that they're looking for something or trying to get something, that thing is the MacGuffin. And it just means this sort of plot-centric item. So tokens, more often than not, are going to be some sort of MacGuffin type thing. It's just a plot item that helps you get from one place to another. So let's say orbs. Let's say you're collecting orbs, and you don't want the character to be able to progress until they already have the orb. We might say, okay, if you touch this cube, hero receives token orb. Alrighty. So if we touch the cube, we'll get the orb. If we refuse to touch the cube, we're going to be stuck in here, and I'll show you why. Because we're going to put a bunch of guards. They're not going to let you out unless you get the orb. And then we're going to orient them as well. So we'll show you this little interface. We didn't go over this too much, but we'll do it later as we look more into actors and what they do. So we can orient them up here so that it looks like they're facing a direction that kind of makes sense. And then we're going to give them a touch behavior that says, if hero has token orb, then we'll probably make all of these just become inactive. So we'll say next becomes inactive. We'll say this one becomes inactive, and we'll say this one becomes inactive, and this is all indented wrong. We're going to fix that later. And we'll say this one becomes inactive, and we'll say this one becomes inactive. Wait. Did I do something wrong here? Did I? Okay. Whew. So we've got 101, 5, 4, and 6. So this is 1. Let's go to 2 then. Let's go to 3. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many do we have total? I think we had 6 total. So that should be all of them. So just indent these so that they're indented properly. But we'll see again, if we indent them to max to the first one, we get an error. So what's easier to do, just so it looks cleaner, is to delete that indent on the first one that gets put in automatically. There's no way to not make it do that indent automatically. So you just got to keep track of that. Else, he is going to say, you shall not pass. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to copy this. It doesn't want to copy the if, please. No, it refuses. Oh, there we go. We're just going to copy this and paste this into all of our knights here. Wait, did we even press OK? Yeah, we did. Alrighty. If you don't press OK and you just do cancel, which for some reason I do all the time, you just lose everything that you did, and it's very frustrating. So always press OK. Always press OK, unless you accidentally messed up and you want to press cancel because you deleted a bunch of stuff. Because there's no Control Z in here. Okay, whatever you do in here is final, unless you press cancel. But if you press cancel, that's also final. So just be careful. Be careful in there. That screen can give you some headaches. Alrighty, so we're copy and pasting, having a great time, copy and pasting. There we go. Okay, so now we are trapped in here. We can't get out. This guy says you shall not pass. This guy says you shall not pass. Now, the reason this kind of works, I was able to copy and paste, is because these guys all look the same. So it's actually this guy over here is the only one talking. This guy, because that's who it says, NPC 1101, and that's him, I believe. Yeah, so it's just this guy. But since they all look the same, it kind of gives you the effect of, you know, it shows up this. It feels like any of them is talking. So none of them are going to let me through. You shall not pass, and I'm just stuck in this little courtyard. But if I go and get this, let's also give it a little message so that it tells us. Orb. If we get the orb, we got the orb, then they just all disappear when we touch them. Excellent. So now we can move around freely. So that's kind of what tokens can do. So we've already seen what the number counter can do. Tokens allow us to do something if we have the token when it checks for it. So that was some kind of basic ideas how you can use some of this. And next time, I think we're just going to jump right into the actual making of the game, and probably we're going to go ahead and get premium. I would say in between now and the next video. I think it's about time. I think we've gone over a lot of the free stuff. We can still do a lot of stuff. I mean, we could still make a whole game with the free. The features, as you might call free features. We can still make a whole game with the features, but there's I see no reason to. I'm going to be getting premium anyway, and I might as well just go for it since we're going to be making this game. So for the rest of it, I'll try to, as much as I can, let you know about, like, if you're not getting premium and you're just getting the free version, how you might go about doing the same things that I'm doing. It shouldn't actually be that different. It's mostly just going to be a visual thing. There's still going to be ways to do everything that I'm going to do mechanically in the game. It just won't look the same, because that's the main thing that premium adds right now is this data. You can add a bunch of items. I already talked about it. Basically a whole catalog of images that you can use for things like this potion pickups. Because right now you can already have a lot of stuff that looks cool, like this tree here. I can't do anything with it. It's not an actor. And so far the only actors that we really have are these people. But this has basically given us access to a bunch of actors who look different, who look like items. There's swords and bows, and I'll post a link in the description to the little premium kind of announcement video. I guess we'll call it the premium announcement video. But yeah, I think that's all for today. I think we've pretty much covered some good content, covered some good ground. And next time we'll get more into the nitty-gritties of making the game. Although we did start it a little bit because we have this going, and I'll see. I'm not super familiar. I didn't use Google Docs very long, but I'd like to be able to just share all the stuff with you guys so you have access to this, and you can just paste this into your own game, and you can go from there. But yeah, for now, that's it. We'll talk more later, and I will hit you up next time. Thank you so much for coming and checking out the video. Once again, there will be links in the description, including the premium announcement and among others. I don't know if it'll be in this video, maybe future videos where I link stuff to the Google Docs so you can have access to the script as well. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Adios, have a great one.